time is now 6 p.m. I call this meeting to order of the Smith County Emergency Services District Number 2. I certify that there is a quorum present with 4 commissioners present and 1 by video conference. And so at this time, I've asked County Judge Neil Franklin to lead us in our prayer and pledge of allegiance to the United States and Texas flags.
If you would, please bow and pray with me. Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for another day in Smith County. We're so thankful of the blessing that it is just to live in a community with so many caring and compassionate people, Lord. We're thankful for all the first responders. We pray for their safety. Lord, we're thankful for this board. We ask that you bless them, guide them, lead, guide, and direct every decision they make, because it affects all the citizens of Smith County. Lord, we ask all of this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Now the pledge to the American flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now to the second flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
One nation, under God, indivisible.
We do it.
I think y'all are doing a different one than I do.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Judge Franklin. All right. I would also ask everybody to silence your phones and pagers. If you have radios on and you have to leave, just have them low enough to where it doesn't interfere with the meeting. And as far as guests tonight, we have Judge Neil Franklin here, who's going to do a little swearing-in ceremony for us, and also Commissioner of Precinct 1, Christina Drury, is with us. Anybody else I missed? Hector's are you still Democratic Chair?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Hector Garza. And looks like I see the Mayor of Chapel Hill coming in, so Riley Harris. So, all right. I guess that'll take care of number 3. Item 4, public comment. Do we have anybody signed up to make a public comment? Nobody for public comment. All right, we'll move right on to item 5, which is swearing-in ceremony for Commissioner Brown, single member District 4, and Commissioner Domney, single member District 1, to be officiated by the Honorable County Judge Franklin. Okay. We'll do that out front.
Two identical, just one for each. I can do it. I'll take it.
Back closer to the board there.
Okay, do you want to hold, somebody want to hold it for a hand? Yeah. And where do y'all want us to be for the camera?
Judge, if you can get as close to this table as you can.
Okay. That good?
Yes.
All right. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's
go
do
the
it
other
that
way.
way. There we go.
All right.
All right. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I state your name,
I, Johnny Brown,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Commissioner,
of the Office of Commissioner,
Smith County Emergency Service District 2
Smith County Emergency Service District Number 2
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I guess we'll flip.
Yep, yeah, we're gonna flip.
All right. All right. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I state your name.
I, Brent Domney,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Commissioner,
of the Office of Commissioner,
Smith County Emergency Service District 2
Smith County Emergency Service District Number 2
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and
Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Drew. All right. And now you need my signature?
Yes, please.
Do we need to sign? or
Yeah,
just-
ideally, they should sign first up
Okay.
there, and then you just validate down there once
Okay,
they sign it.
Pen, you can borrow that. Right up here. There. All right. You, I print it out too?
Oh, I can do that.
Okay, I will.
There you go. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, Judge. All right, thank you. All right. Yeah, we got that done. All right, item number 6 will be the consent agenda. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action related to the payment of accounts, bills, invoices, payroll requests for reimbursement, requests for other payments, transfer of funds, and amendments. Under 6.1 is discuss, consider, and take any action on actions taken by staff to overcome challenges faced during the fuel provider transition. So, as you know, we've had some problems with our fuel provider, and so I guess we need to ratify the cost incurred during that of
And I'd like to acknowledge the efforts put forth by the entire administration at
Right.
overcoming this obstacle. I mean, you guys went out and did an excellent job. We had a plan for how we was gonna address it, and you took that plan and turned it out even better than we had expected. And so, overall, I think y'all done an excellent job and deserve recognition for such. Thank you.
right, yeah, did a good job. Quick, fast, and under a lot of pressure. So we appreciate everything you guys did. So-
I'll make the motion that we ratify the cost incurred and actions taken as presented in this agenda item, including emergency purchases, payments, tank rentals, credit limit increases, the pre-approval of issuance of purchase orders for the purchase of fuel, and the payment of fuel card expenses at a cost not to exceed $46,438.50, and to approve the continuation of the temporary fuel tank rentals at a cost not to exceed $4,800.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Domney,
Second.
have a second by Commissioner Arnold. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. 6.2, emergency purchases. Mansfield Service Partners for fuel tank rental in the amount of $3,119.95.
Again, this is just the rental service that we we just spoke of. I make the motion that we approve the payment to Mansfield Service Partners in the amount of $3,119.95.
Motion by Commissioner Domney to pay Mansfield Partners in the amount of $3,119.95. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries. 6.3, payment of bills. If anybody has any questions about any of them, I don't think there's anything there that was out of the ordinary that I saw Friday.
I think it's just worth noting that the Citizens Martin, which is like the third, fourth one from the bottom, you know, that's the new watercraft that we purchased, and about $239,491 out of that, just for that craft. All the rest of them, like you said, are Johnny, are pretty standard things.
Right.
There may be some out there that might not know what IX Systems is. It's, you know, the secondary storage, that was that new server room, backup equipment that we purchased, or agreed, you know, to purchase. So outside of that, that was only two major ones I saw noted.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that we approve the Item number 6.3, in the amount of $1,435,528.24.
Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to pay our bills in the amount of $1,435,528.24. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Arnold. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 6.4 is our district credit card bills for the month of December.
And I don't have any comment to any of
I don't
those.
like there's anything out of line on any of those. So I'd entertain a motion to pay those bills.
I'll make that motion that we pay the total $8,944.69 for our credit card bills.
All right, have a motion by Commissioner Wilson,
Second.
a second by Commissioner Arnold. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. All right, our contract payments, that's for our cable bills, electricity, insurance, cell phone bills, stipends, and all. Yeah, paper call, so, I'd entertain a motion, that we pay those unless somebody has a question
Make a
about
motion
them.
that we proceed with 6.5, is that right? Pay the bill in the amount of $107,375.37.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Arnold, we pay our contract payments in the amount of $107,375.37. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a
Second.
By Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. All right. And then we have another, it says urgent purchase under 6.6 for Lone Star Truck Group in the amount of $4,778.21. And that was for the Winona blocker. So, I entertain a motion to pay that bill.
Make the motion that we pay the emergency repairs to Lone Star Truck Group in the amount of $4,778.21.
Motion by Commissioner Dominy to pay Lone Star Truck Group $4,778.21 for Winona blocker. Does it have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 6.7 is for board information only. It's our benefit payments for our healthcare premiums, and so it all falls within the scope of what we've set up to do. So $95,000 for healthcare, $7,600 for dental, I believe is what it is. Anyway, the total amount for Blue Cross Blue Shield is $81,274.58. So I guess we need a motion to approve that payment. Is that right?
No.
Okay, that's just what we paid. All right. All right. All right, item 7 is approval of the minutes for the November 18th, 2024 special call meeting minutes. The November 22nd, 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting minutes. The October 25th, 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting minutes, and October 14th, 2024 special call meeting minutes.
Okay, so as in the last meeting, I acknowledged that I was the one that had gotten behind on those, so I made up for it, and got them all taken care of, and so I've reviewed all of them. Any corrections or anything I had have been incorporated, and I'd move that we would accept the meeting minutes as presented.
Okay, for all the
All
meetings?
four, yes, I won't read them again.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Dominy to approve the minutes of all the 4 board meetings, the 2 special call meetings and the 2 regular board meetings. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Arnold. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 8, Executive Director's Administrative and Financial Report.
Okay, so as usual, I will not go through the entire report. You have printed copies and online copies, so I will do a few highlights. The performance reviews for all admin staff is right in the middle of the process right now, and that includes the 360-degree reviews too. So hopefully over the next 30 to 45 days, I will sit down and review with the board too all the reviews of my direct reports and seek approval, etc. The technician for support services, we've had a few setbacks as far as rejection of offers being presented. So that position is back open now and applications are being entertained. The special purpose district report due to the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts has been duly filed, and that pretty much takes care of all these various reports that we have to do every year. And we have also done the publication in the newspaper of the head office address as requested by 775. The sales tax revenue continues to be positive compared to last year. And for January now, we show an increase of 6.8% compared to the same period last year. And that shows a year-to-date collection of 8.1. However, I would caution the board not to be too optimistic because a big chunk of these increases are due to the Atmos. I presume it's a pipeline or whatever they're building out there that's behind a big chunk of this increase. So once that goes away, we'll see where we stand. So the investment officers of Smith County ESD number 2 is planning on moving the investments from the main Fidelity account that is currently invested in a money market government portfolio. And when I say government, that means that this particular portfolio only invests in treasury bills and agency securities. And with agency securities, I mean things like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that is owned by the US government. But out of extreme caution on prudence, we're going to move to another Fidelity main mutual fund that is called Fidelity Money Market Treasury Only Mutual Fund. And that particular mutual fund only invests in treasury bills. So the difference, we actually go down in the yield a little bit. We go down 0.03%, which works out on the money we have invested to about less than $10,000 in a whole year. But in return, we can all sleep at night without worrying anything about what's going to happen in the future. So,
The concerns primarily around those associated outside of government, the Freddie.
yeah, I mean, there are, with the new administration in place, there are some rumors out in the marketplace that Mr. Trump is going to privatize Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac again. And if they do get privatized, overnight, the values of those securities could decline. And there's no reason for us as a government institution to face that worry.
Right.
So that's all I have. I'm open for questions.
Don't have any.
Good job, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, 8.2, investment portfolio report for Smith County covering the fiscal quarter ending December 31st, 2024.
And again, this is required by our investment policy that this gets reported every quarter, and Mr. Commissioner Domini, as the board treasurer, has independently verified the report, as have I. And we just present this for the board's information.
Okay. All right. Is that all we have on that one?
Yes.
Okay. 8.3, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on accepting the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award as presented to the district by the Government Finance Officers Association, GFOA. And since the district was formed in 2007, this is the first time the district has received this award. So you want to speak on that, Eric?
Yes, sure. So a big chunk of this credit should go to Mr. Larry Lockey and to Mr. Keith Beam here. And this was way beyond my ambition level when we did this, but Mr. Lockey insisted on trying to shoot for this reward, and in the end, we did achieve it. And I think since the board is pledged for transparency, I think this is evidence of the transparency that the board is seeking.
And you're compared to all different types of agencies all across the state.
Absolutely.
And to come out on top of that is an exceptional recognition. Y'all done an excellent job. Thank you. Very, very good.
Yeah, great job.
Right. So the district got the award, but then there's also 3 individual recognitions, which was also for Mr. Edstrom, Mr. Locke, and Mr. Beam for their work, for putting the budget and all the financials together and everything like that. So,
The bar's high.
bar is high, yeah. So I would entertain a motion that the board formally accept the award for the district.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Domney. I have a second. Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Just like I said, they don't hand this award out like cotton candy. You have to work for it. So you guys did a good job, and we're highly appreciative of the work you put in to do that. So, all right. Barring any other question or discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say
Aye.
And that motion carries. All right, item 9, financial reports. Mr. Bean?
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. If we could, let's look at the budget versus actual for the October 1st through December 31st packet of information you have. So we're 3 months into the year, so we should be about 25%. And if you look at, as Eric had mentioned, our sales tax, or our ad valorem tax looks fairly strong, as well as our sales tax. I think at one of our previous board meetings, I think Mr. Dominic, you had asked about TIF Moss income. So we budgeted $250,000, and we've already recorded approximately $243,000. So I was able to get together with Chief Clanton. He's the one who actually applies for all the reimbursements for TIF Moss, and he anticipates we will receive this fiscal year approximately $643,000. So well above what was budgeted.
Thank you.
Overall, our revenues look fairly strong for this time of the year, for again, 25% into the year. Moving on down to expenditures, looking solely at our total personnel cost. So our budgeted personnel costs are approximately $16.7 million, and right now we're right at $5.8 million. Now that is higher than 25%. Actually, that's 34%. But what's in that number is the $1.6 million contribution we made to TCDRS. So as we move through the rest of the fiscal year, that line will smooth. Looking a little further down into administrative operating expenses, we spent a little more than we had budgeted for board elections. We'd planned $35,000, ended up spending $37,184. Our insurance, Lincoln is still in the deficit. We are cleaning up our insurance. What I mean by that is we're right-sizing our fleet. We recently sold a piece of property, but we also bought a piece of property. We recently bought a boat. So we do have some credits outstanding with our insurance. And I have shared previously, I think, at our, that we're gonna be over budget for our commercial package. So just an FYI, next week is Safe D, and I've talked to 2 insurance providers there that are planning on being there. And Eric and I are both planning on going by their booths. And our ultimate goal is to put an RFP out at the end, towards the end of this fiscal year for insurance services. Hopefully get a little more competitive rate than we're currently getting, hopefully.
Good, thank you.
And then, just as an FYI, this budget also reflects all the changes related to the CAD developments, or the budget amendments related to the CAD. So if you look down under fire administration, we've got $140,000 here in the operating budget for dispatching. And again, hopefully we'll be getting some invoices for that soon, and we'll start utilizing those funds. Other than that, I really didn't have anything to highlight unless there were questions from the board.
Keith, I just want to add a clarification for everybody else out there. When you talked about the personnel cost and the 1.6 million that we made the contribution to TCDRS, take that out, and we're sitting right on top of 25% for total.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And just overall, our expenditures, so our budgeted expenditures about 27.7 million, and we have utilized 7.2 million, so that is exactly 26%. So we're on track, but yes, sir, you're right about compensation.
Good, thank you.
Anything else we need to do under financials?
No, I don't have anything else.
Item 10, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on approval of request to allow district staff to pay our wireless service account, which is Verizon, at due dates. Verizon has their bill that comes in at a different time, and we meet after the due date, so I think what you're asking for is to...
Yeah, this is a similar scenario with like Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas. So typically, Verizon, they generate the invoice, Brent goes out and gets it off of their website. And in compressed months, it's difficult because it may not be available the 15th, 16th, 17th of the month, but we're already finalizing the agenda, or have finalized the agenda. Like November was a perfect month. Our board meeting was November 22nd, so we really finalized the agenda early. And then, as important as this service is, I would not want it to get disrupted because we didn't pay it as timely as Verizon would like.
And Verizon has threatened to disrupt, correct?
They have. Yeah, that's the genesis of all this. They sent us a letter, and so we decided to try to get proactive. And so I put together some ranges. You know, our average amount is $3,788. Our highest bill so far over the last 12 months was $4,129. So I think with the 20% increase up to $4,545, we should not be putting ourselves in that situation where we get any ugly letters from Verizon threatening to disrupt our service. And that's our wireless service, that's the radios, and I don't know, Brent knows what, I mean, Larry knows what all that is, but it's very important, very.
It is. I second that.
So that's what I'm asking is for the board to, like, again, handle this much like our Blue Cross Blue Shield. Allow us to process it as long as it falls within the threshold that we've defined here.
And we will report back, of course, the following board meeting.
Just like with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
And I would say if we agree to this, that if you would go ahead and just make a note that you need to trend it, so that if we do see starting to bump up against that, then we can readdress the total amount that we're willing to do. We don't
Yes,
want
we
to,
can do-
get you in a position where you don't have enough to pay one time as well, for the same reason, so. I'll make the motion that we authorize district staff to pay our ongoing wireless service invoices up to $4,545 as reflected above at the due date, and report activity as consent agenda items at the next board meeting in the following months.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Domney to authorize the staff to pay up to $4,545 and report back to the board each month after the bill is paid. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second by
Second.
Commissioner Arnold. He beat you, Scotty, I'm sorry. Anyway,
No problem, it's probably easier, I just let those guys do it.
yeah, all right. All right. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay? All right. Motion carries. Item 11, discuss, consider, and take action on the attached fiscal year 24 financial statement audit proposal, engagement letter, investment performance audit letter, and agreed upon procedure investments letter received from Squires and Company. You gonna speak on that one, Keith?
Squire shared with us the 3 engagement letters. They provide audit services for our financial statements. They also do a performance audit on our investments. And then they also do a special procedure to make sure we're following our guidelines for our investments. And so I put a little schedule together that shows FY 2023 versus FY 2024. There is a very slight difference or increase. Really, the reason for the increase is, last year we had a new accounting software, so they had to do what they call a new account walk forward. So obviously in FY 24, they don't have to do that. So that's the reason for the slight increase. Overall, if we didn't have that new account walk forward, it'd probably be about a 5% increase overall, which we can expect. So what I'm asking the board to do is to approve Squires and Company as our auditor, and then allow Eric to sign any associated engagement letters.
And the total request is $45,845.
Should be, unless they have some kind of other costs that might occur during the year, which seem unlikely, but we would bring those to your attention if that did occur.
Okay. that's all
And
I
they would
wanna
not be
make sure.
significant costs.
Okay, I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
the value that you're asking. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll make the motion that we approve Squires and Company as the district auditor and authorize the executive director to sign any associated engagement letters at a cost not to exceed $45,845.
A motion by Commissioner Domney to approve Squires and Company as the district auditor and authorize the executive director to sign any associated engagement letters up to and not to exceed $45,845. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed say nay, and that motion carries. All right. Item 12, Director of Human Resources report.
Okay, good evening. Before you have my HR report. I was just going to highlight a few things on it. We have 14 firefighters that are moving on to the panel interviews for February 5th and 6th. We have 5 applicants that took the lieutenant exam last week. And once we get the results back, those will be scheduled for February 5th and 6th as well, or through the 7th, excuse me. And we're looking to hire these. The projected start date is March 3rd. Then the next point is payroll and year-end reports. We did start the new pay period Monday through Sunday, effective January 6th, and we ran that through our first payroll on January 24th. Shannon did an excellent job on that. There was some massaging she had to do to compensate for the 5th, but she did an excellent job. And then W-2s and 1095-Cs, they've all gone out and been mailed, and they're also available on UKG for download. We already talked about performance review, so I won't go over that. We do have TCDRS that is hosting a webinar for Smith County on January 28th, which is tomorrow at 9 a.m. And I'm hoping that we'll get good response on that so that they can get answers to any questions they might have. And so I'm hoping for good results out of that. The webinar will also be recorded and will go out after the meeting. Do you have any questions?
Great.
All right, should I move on?
Workforce injuries.
Unfortunately, in January, we had 4 work compensation injuries that resulted in a loss of hours. But fortunately, we have 3 out of the 4 that have already been released to return to duty as of today. So we've only got 1, and that's the 4th one on the list. And I do not have a return date at this time. The December injury, he has also been released to return as of today, the 27th. So it's looking better.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Sherry?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. All right. Item 12.3, discuss and consider and take any necessary action on funding request for ESI Employee Assistance Program contract renewal. So who's going to speak on that one?
That's me.
Okay.
Before, you have a funding request before you for ESI, which is our Employee Assistance Program. This is to renew the 2025 contract, and it covers 159 paid staff and 104 volunteers. It's $6,477, which is actually $1,748 less than last year. And I'm asking the board if you will, well, let me back up. This is also a budgeted item under 52023. So I'm asking the board if you will agree to pay the $64.77 and allow me to sign the contract for the renewal.
It's within our budget for this year, so.
Yes,
with that
it
second,
is.
so, okay, great, thank you.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion on that item.
Make the motion that we approve the funding request of $6,477 and authorize Human Resources Director to sign the renewal agreement with ESI, the Employment Assistance Program.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Domney to approve the, have a second? Second by Commissioner Arnold to allow Sherry to sign the document. And anyway, is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries too. Item 13, Community Outreach Coordinator's Report.
Good evening. Okay, so every month I always think, oh gosh, that was a busy month, and then we hit the next month, and holy cow, December up until now has been a crazy month. So I want to talk about all of the things that have gone on. Just some of the, one of the things that we left off, and when I say me, my department is we, is last month we had partnered with Christus and CASA for a toy drive. The stations were drop-off locations for several weeks, and with the help of support services, we were able to deliver a box truck full of items, gifts for families that were partnering with CASA. A lot of that, it's my understanding, not only came from the community, but internally. So just a huge shout out to everyone who participated in that, because what we were able to give was overwhelming. So that was very exciting. So I just wanted to throw that in there because we did have that on social media and that partnership, and I think we'll be continuing that because it was fantastic. Some of the things that we have coming up, you all probably received an email from me with our community survey that's in regards to our website. That also went out publicly. That was just a survey that's put on by the company that's going to be hosting our website, just to get some feedback as we're going through the design process to make sure that we're highlighting the right areas and what we want to continue to emphasize. So I hope you saw that and participated. It has closed at this point because we're moving along that timeline that has a very strict timeline. What we're looking at right now is a soft launch in September, so I'll keep you updated as we're moving through that process. I have a meeting tomorrow where we're going to be going over some of the design features and layout, things like that, working with those teams. IT's been working with us to get some of the analytics over to Granicus, the department that's going to be hosting our website, just so that we can see where does the community visit the most, what things do we need to emphasize and highlight, what do we need to shift around, and then of course keeping everything that's legally required up front where it needs to be. If you see some of the snapshots that I've sent you, we have been heavily involved with the media this month. We've had so many events going on that especially were cold weather related. We have tried to accommodate them as much as possible, and so I really give another shout out to Chief Greaser and his team, because usually when I say the media is calling, we step over to accommodate them. And even the last board meeting, we had a significant accident on Highway 155, and I think the majority of the meeting I was over here answering every reporter about what was going on, working with the battalion chiefs to get updated information to get it to them in a timely manner. So this team has just done a fantastic job with me, and I really appreciate them. In fact, you can see one of those calls. We had a call where we partnered with Longview for a recovery in a pond, and one of the parties involved saw what was going on because of what we were posting on social media and what was being shared to the media as I was out there, live updates. And so they came over to the scene and said, hey, we're involved in this, so we can help you out. So that all came, they said, we're watching it on social media, this involves us. So they came over to where we were. So I say all that to say I am so excited to let you all know that we posted some videos. We've had a significant amount of structure fires. Posted some videos about what's been going on tactically, and one of our, and it's not to be excited about a fire, but about the training and the tactics that our team used, has more than 700,000 views. It bumped up. I was talking in our last meeting how our social media almost doubled in the year that I've been here, and then in that last week when we were posting those videos, another 1,200 followers. So we're at almost 7,000 followers on social media, so that has more than doubled in the year. We created an Instagram account that has more than 1,200 followers. So I just, the training department, what's been going on with Chief Greaser and his leadership has truly been incredible. To see that feedback coming in from other fire departments, from big influencers in the fire community, has really been outstanding to see them compliment what our teams are doing. In fact, some of the videos that I posted led to comments saying, hey, how can we volunteer there? Who do I need to contact? What do we need to do? So that was bringing in some great recruitment for our team, and I'm hoping that will just showcase what we've got going on in Smith County and who's serving. So it's just really exciting to see that going on. Some other feedback that I got just from some of our social media posts has been, as we're sharing the culture of our department, so some of that includes what I would call soft news stories. So you'll notice that every time we have a new baby, we post those stories. So it's seeing things like that where the teams are really rallying around our families and supporting that, it really brings in a very positive culture for our department and shows that out. So I'd actually gotten into a conversation with someone unprompted who had applied for our department after coming from a major metropolitan department, saying it was the culture, what you guys were sharing on social media, how active you were, that brought me to Smith County and had me asking some of those questions. So that was really exciting to hear that good feedback. So I just wanted to share that this team is doing a fabulous job, and I'm excited to be a part of that. And then I don't like to talk about myself, but I was told to say that I will be presenting at Safety, so I will be there next week to talk about marketing your fire department. So we're excited about that. Yeah.
So happy to hear all the successes. Great job. Really, really encouraged by the amount of participation and recognition we're getting from outside of the organization.
Yes,
Appreciate the job.
it's been incredible to receive that feedback, and then I think it's just gotten the teams excited too, to see that their hard work is being, it's paying off.
Great.
So, thank you.
All right. 14, Assistant Director's Report on Support Services.
Commissioners, as always, you have my report in front of you, so I won't go into all of the details, just pull out a few highlights. We have been very busy, both with the fuel transfer project that we've already kind of discussed, y'all are pretty familiar with, as well as 2 activations kind of in a lean forward scenario for severe winter weather, pre-treating facilities, making sure they're winterized and all the driveways are treated with salt. Couple of things to point out as far as analytics go is, as expected and presented last month, we did expect to see fleet kind of drop in some of their metrics. That did trend as we expected. That's due to some personnel changes and shifts in the organization. I expect that to continue, although I expect it to improve slightly. So I think we're at the bottom. We'll see it climb a little bit, but I think until we get back to full staff levels, we're going to see still a degraded response. In addition to that, there's some room for improvement in logistics. That's an area that we're targeting. And you're going to see a shift in the number of facilities-related tickets that are coming in. That's mainly going to be due to the new personnel that we're putting on. As they run across problems that they're finding at facilities, they're actually putting those in as tickets. Groundskeeping's working to do that, as well as the facilities maintenance technician, so they can share those tickets across and we can really track their time. So you're going to see that number increase, and that's really just due to logging. Yes, it is. And then the only other thing that I'd like to point out on here is a reminder to everybody that we've shifted to 10-hour days for logistics and IT, meaning they are available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. through 7 p.m. So just try to still set an appointment so we know that you're coming. It makes it a little easier, and it makes sure that we're getting everybody in and out really quickly. Other than that, I'm open to any questions you may have.
No, I just say that we've seen a lot of great things come out of our statistics, and I mean, understand there are going to be ups and downs to it, but overall, I think you guys done a great job, and it really is just putting a little bit of focus on some key areas that really made a big difference. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything for Larry? Okay.
You're not going to recognize the safe drivers?
Oh,
That's next, yes. So I did put in not just safe drivers, but a fleet year-end report, just to kind of capture what happened last year. If I could get it to switch over there. Try this a different way. So in the fleet year-end report, you can see that we had 1,978 safety events detected. But that results in a score of 97 out of 100, so that's pretty safe driving system-wide. In 2024, we drove almost 500,000 miles, driving 452,673 miles. That's around 18 times around the globe. That consisted over 12,000 hours on the road. The longest distance traveled was probably on a deployment, 286 miles in a stretch. Average distance traveled by asset is about 5,500 miles a year, and the total trips traveled by your fleet, we did close to 60,000 individual trips. Averaged about 8.8 miles per gallon, and our safest driver, I think for the second year in a row, is Battalion Chief Nix, scoring 100, closely followed by Chief Smith, one of our support services, Stephen Acker, and Lieutenant Joseph Lamont coming in fourth place, all though at 100. So we had some pretty safe drivers throughout the year. And our most fuel efficient driver is actually one of our support services, vehicle transport techs, Judy Acker. So.
okay. A lot of miles.
A lot of miles.
You have anything else, Larry?
Other than to say this may be my shortest section that I've ever had on a board meeting.
Yep.
Just 2 items.
I'll make up for it next time.
Yeah.
No promises.
All right. Item 14.2, discuss, consider, and take any action on rebuilding the radiator for engine 366 at a cost of $2,235.10.
Commissioners, I'll just point out this is less expensive than a new radiator, and we believe it to be a better value overall. The new radiator, we expect to see some of the same problems we're seeing out of this one. The rebuilt radiator actually rebuilds a lot of the problem parts that are plastic with metal parts. So I'd ask that you go ahead and approve this.
New radiator is about $5,000 and it's plastic, and rebuilding it with metal is $2,200, is that right?
Rebuilding some of the parts with metal, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, the parts that are breaking.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Make the motion that we'd authorize staff to rebuild the radiator from engine 366 at a cost of $2,235.10.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Domney to rebuild the radiator on MD engine 366 at a cost of $2,235.10. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. All right, thank you, Larry. Item 15, Chief of Operations report.
Good evening, Commissioners. I wrote this report actually about a week and a half ago. We've had quite a few things transpire since then. You might know that we are fortunate that even though involved in a crash out on Highway 13 with engine 146 out of Troop, a catastrophic incident, but as Sherry reported a moment ago, those injuries appear to be certainly non-life-threatening and not career-ending or even worse. And so we're excited about the progress of where they're at on that. And you might know that there's a full investigation to be done to understand exactly what transpired. We're working on obtaining the video, although we've had some challenges with that in terms of the amount of damage done to the system. We're trying to work through some of those challenges, but Chief Strickland is the lead on the investigation, and we're working through that as we speak. And I'll share those details in due time. In 2024, we turned 10,219 runs, and so quite a few runs for an organization like this, and so that is trending. More calls for services, almost 1,000 fires that took place in 2024. Sherry spoke with you about our recruiting efforts, and we're excited about where that's at. It's challenging, as you might know. There's a lot of departments right now that are hiring, and so we're competing across the state of Texas with some rather ambitious competing recruiting methods. And so that's a challenge for us. We now have, and in my report, a correction needs to stand that we now have 9 vacancies to fill, and I previously reported only 8. We are meeting with the Smith County Commissioners Court tomorrow morning. All are invited to that, obviously, it's an open meeting. But that is in an attempt to get the authorization signatures for the host agency on the CAD. So that basically allows Motorola to have the authorizations in place that move forward with the project. So there's your authorization that took place to move it forward in terms of the purchase. Now I need the county's authorization in terms of allowing us to be on a host agency as an authorized partner with them. So we'll work on that in the morning. I think Judge Franklin a moment ago indicated that all is lined up and ready for that for tomorrow. I did indicate in my report that the new engine 132 that was produced in Florida would be at the Longview Siddons Martin shop. I've just received a text that it did not make it there today. So I don't have any cause for alarm, but it's just not there, and so I stand corrected on what I wrote. I fully anticipated that would be the case. It is not. But I think that probably tomorrow I get a message. I'd be happy to share that out when it arrives. In Edstrom's report, we talked about the fireboat. I was very pleased with the training that we accomplished on the boat, and we're waiting on getting the radios installed. And you already know that the shop is a little bit taxed right now in terms of capacity, and so we're in line. We're in line to get that done. The MAC that we're doing the conversion to is making great progress. We anticipate that being finished in about another 2 to 3 weeks, and so things are moving along quickly on that. In my report, I did include from TEEX an appreciation letter for some of our deployments. I wanted you to be aware that the volume of deployments that occurred throughout the state of Texas in 2024, and the number of times that deployments took place that we were involved in. Lots of training that is occurring, has been occurring over the last month. We've been involved in some of the water rescue development programs that we're working on, so we're trying to get that off the ground, and lots of work collaboratively, even with Longview Fire Department, sharing some of their knowledge. They've been in the business of water rescue for quite some time, and so we're trying to partner with some of those programs that are already stood up and already existing, so we're making good progress with that. Commissioners, I'm available to answer any questions that you might have.
Don't have anything, but, nice to see external agencies again, send us recognition for what we're doing. Thank y'all for what y'all do too.
Thank you.
I'm not the one that has to go. Y'all do all the work, so good job.
Keith indicated earlier, some of the TIFMAS reimbursements, and just a little tag to go along with that. So, some of those are delayed from fiscal years and holdovers that occur. Some delays in getting those reimbursements out of the state. Some of those are federal that go pass through the state back to the local. And so we anticipate that those numbers are quite robust this year.
All right.
Any other questions for Chief?
Thank you.
All right.
15.2, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on purchase of replacement battalion chief vehicles. And I guess you'll speak on that, Chief Breezer?
Yes, Commissioners, what I have before you tonight is a purchase request for 2 new battalion chief vehicles. These were included in the current budget request, in our current adopted budget. We actually had adopted to purchase 3 of these vehicles in the adopted budget. The plan before you tonight is to purchase 2 Dodge chassis from a dealership under contract. The plan before you tonight is to utilize HGAC pricing for EVS out of Houston, which is a Siddons-Martin partnership. That's the same we've had that have done upfitting for us in the past, and we've had very good success with that relationship. The most recent were the Tahoes that we have, and I'm proud that the quality of work is quite exceptional in those vehicles. In addition to that, there is some upfitting money related to IT equipment, so new radios and new hardware for the MDCs and a gateway on board to where we could work on radio channels from the vehicles. With that said, you'll see the total price expenditure for both vehicles at $327,144, which is within budget, but over budget in terms of per vehicle. So within budget of the line, but over budget with that, leaving a remaining budget of $84,956 in that, which is unaccounted for at this time. This is all of the capital apparatus purchases for the year.
Chief, I'll go ahead and just I'll say I take exception to the fact that it's in budget, because it's not. I understand that you have a line item, but it was for 3, and we know this is for 2, and there's no way you can buy the 3rd one, so it's outside of the budget. So I also recognize and acknowledge that when we're working through the budget, that we had challenged you on the original proposed amount. That amount was $140,000 per apparatus, total $420,000, and you stated that. And I can't quote you verbatim, but I think that I remember you stating that you'll do your best to try to make sure that we can get it within budget. So at the $120,000 is what we budgeted. So we're sitting here at $163,000, which is well outside of what we discussed as, what we approved as a budget at $120,000, or even what we discussed as $140,000.
Correct.
So I'm having a little bit of a difficult time seeing where we can justify the $163,000. I acknowledge that we had the extra radio.
Correct.
And if I'm not mistaken, Larry, correct me, that nominally was about $8,000?
That is, there's also an additional component that's being requested, and that's for a radio patch, or what you would call a gateway.
Right.
And I think that's roughly about 10,000 by itself.
Okay, so we're looking at nominally about the 18,000 mark then, because we can contribute to the radio patch, because we know that what we have to do, we're gonna have to upgrade it sometime before 27, so as we're upgrading our individual apparatus, we need to go ahead and just incorporate this in along the way, rather than wait to have a big hit all at one time. So the 18,000, I understand how that can come in, but we're still sitting, well above anything that we have budgeted this year, even the 140,000 that we anticipated, in initially submittals, so.
And 3,000 of that was for small tools, so you wouldn't have to take it out of this. It could come out of other lines. But in an effort to be fully transparent with you, that's why those are in there.
But we're still above even the 140,000 that was originally proposed.
Correct.
So, go ahead.
I have a question. The current battalion trucks are, by the time these come in, will be war slap out, correct?
Well, they'll have roughly 250,000 miles on them. So
And that's about the extent of the life on a gas.
I'd rather not strip them in terms of all their IT in case there is availability of a second life. But as far as them, they're gonna have 250,000. So at 250,000, you could expect transmission failures, full motor failures. I mean, all of those things are possible, rear ends and things of that nature.
And this would give you the ability to have something to pull the boat
Correct.
once these come in?
Correct.
We'll take one of the better ones to go
Ye-
to the
Yes, sir.
training captain and next best thing over to the boat so that we have something dedicated, correct?
Yes, we'll need that for sure. So it's no doubt we could have saved money by moving radio equipment, but that would take them out of a second life and almost ready for auction if you're gonna begin to strip them. We also currently have no real reserve for battalion service. So like we go and extract a vehicle from somewhere to make that happen, but we don't really have a true reserve.
Right, usually White House
Yes,
owns it.
correct.
I thought you told us the other day you were gonna take these two that you're wanting to replace ARP's unit and somebody else's unit. Is that all right, Brent, that we talked about?
I was thinking incorrectly that it was going to ARP, but they are both serving second life.
Yeah, those are in need to be phased out over time too. Winona command truck, I mean, there's several of those that are end of life.
Anything you can do to bring it down to get it back within your, the $140,000, or whatever, so Brent?
So if you take the 18,000, and then the other 3,000, you're getting close. Whenever you start backing out a couple of those things, getting back close to that 140,000 mark right now. But I don't know exactly where all that plays out at.
Yeah, we'll trim in terms of loose equipment and we'll trim in terms of what the IT package looks like. That's really where
Is it my understanding that this will also help us keep from ordering 3 trucks at one time if we bump one back too?
Well, you and I had a discussion about that the other day, about if you order all 3, then all 3 are coming due again at the same time. So staggering them off sequence is not bad. But to Mr. Domini's point, that's not really within budget. We're
I
borrowing
understand
from the
what-
line, no
what
doubt.
The problem is, we're a little over on the budget, but I also realize these trucks are fixing to wear out, and we're fixing to be scrapping and trying to find vehicles, so.
Well, if you're gonna dedicate one to the boat, it's gonna,
Well,
all you need's a portable radio in it, you don't need
True.
if it's all it's gonna do is pull the boat.
But trying to operate a handheld and driving down the road instead of
Yeah,
mobile unit is a little bit difficult. It slides over on the other seat, you can't find it.
Well, either you got your handheld mic or whatever on your radio. Hopefully, most of them are equipped with that, so I don't know.
What I'd like to propose is that we actually table it, but I'm gonna ask you to go back and lay this out in a means that shows us what we're really gonna be able to do at what value. And take, lay it, right now, we'll go ahead and make sure that we got true IT numbers.
Okay,
What we're gonna, where that's coming off the budget as well, or where it's already budgeted. If it's not, it's not. And just, but a little bit clearer, a little bit more granular in the buildup
okay.
of what we've got here.
So one alternative for you is to allow the trucks to go on order so that we're not delayed in terms of the order of the chassis, because I think what you're going to end up in is getting into the next build year. That does split it, but
Have the numbers back by next board meeting, or if you get them before then, we need to have a special call meeting, we can do that. No, I don't think 30 days is gonna put us into another bill year, is it?
I'm uncertain exactly when the cutoffs are for the build year. But they're definitely, we're not far out on them, I know that.
As we discussed, we were talking about a marginal percentage over the 120 that we budgeted, then it's a little bit easier to say that we can accept it, but because we're gonna be so much over, I really would like to see a little more of exactly how we're gonna spend this money, where it's gonna be spent. But my fear is that we're gonna proceed and then we're gonna have another bill come in at a later date that we need to finish the job, and I don't want us to.
No, I don't-
We've been through that before.
Well, I don't think that has to be. We just got to trim it right out of the IT package.
He had a lot more budgeted for that.
I'm sorry, Chief, but we said we're gonna go from 140 to 120, and we're not there. So I'm not willing to accept that we're just gonna trim it out somewhere. I wanna see exactly how we're gonna achieve what we're gonna budget.
Fair.
Well, I think we should probably just table this till the next meeting, give them time to come up with their numbers.
I mean, that's where I'm at, but I mean, the rest of y'all need to
Yeah.
say where you wanna go with it as well.
Yeah, we're going to tighten up somewhere, because we've got a lot of stuff that's coming up, so that would be my recommendation.
Was this your last purchase of the year?
It is.
On equipment?
It is.
Spell out how exactly we can come up with this money from other projects saved upon?
So that is done. That is done. But the granular level of what the IT piece is where, that's really where the buffer is. So everything else is really spelled out. So, I mean, really, we could make IT come back as a separate altogether.
In the past, I have been
I know.
quite vocal about, I wanna know what it's gonna cost all up front before I approve any of it, and I personally am still at the same place. I wanna know what it's gonna cost before we commit the entire thing. And I can remember too many times, approve something and, 30, 60 days later, we get another bill. So, and this part of it just didn't define yet, so.
Gateway's 13,000, so that knocks out 26,000.
Mr. Dominy, the gateway itself is 13,000. If we eliminate that out of the project, that's 13,000 twice.
That brings it out to
It does.
And we budgeted 140,
And we budgeted 120.
120,
120.
360 for 3 of them. We've already pulled one out, put that money towards the rescue boat.
A piece of it, 10,000 of it went to the rescue boat, yes.
Commissioner Arnold, you have a preference in which way we go?
From listening to what y'all got to say, I have a feeling if I make a motion, it's gonna be shot down, so I would, request that Chief Preacher go back and break it down a little bit better for us, and let's bring it back on the next meeting. And an emergency meeting if necessary.
Make that a motion.
I'll make that into a motion.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Arnold that we table it until the chief can bring back better numbers to us, and all laid out, and if we have to, we can call a special call meeting and get it done then. Have a second?
A second.
I have a second by Commissioner Donley. Any other question or discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. All right. Get your numbers, chief, and bring it back. If we have to have a special meeting, we'll do it,
Thank you.
okay? All right. Item 15.3, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on annual PPE NFPA 1851 inspections.
Commissioners, what you have before you is the standard gear inspection and cleaning that's required of us by law. You see that we had budgeted at $57,638. The request is for $57,085, leaving a remaining budget of $553. This is for red line gear cleaning. The thing that they're able to do for us is to go to all of our facilities and accomplish the task. So very, very critical in terms of what we need from the vendor, and they're able to accomplish that for us for that price.
Make the motion that we approve red line gear cleaning to conduct the annual 1851 PPE inspection in the amount of $57,085.
A motion by Commissioner Dominy to approve the request to utilize Red Line Gear Clean to conduct annual 1851 PPE inspection in the amount of $57,085. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. All right. Thank you. Item 16, to discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on fire chiefs presenting and discussing issues with the board for future action. Art, Chief Hickman.
Good evening. In December, we had a slight increase in calls compared to November. I think we were at 38 calls in December, 30 calls the month before. Of course, this time of year, we have an increase in structure fires, including my own house, thanks to Chief Peterson and Chapel Hill Fire responding. Luckily, we had minimal damage. We sent our tender out a couple times in the past couple weeks. A few days ago to assist Jackson Heights on a structure fire, and then a couple weeks ago up in the Winona area. We have one of our members that finished the fire academy last week. He tested, commission tested this morning. He passed, so now he's fully certified. There's also 4 other people that I know that were in that class. I'm waiting for them to test, and hopefully they'll pass, and then I'm going to go be knocking on their door trying to get them to join us over at ARP. And those 4 are also going to be starting an EMT class in February. I'm open for any questions.
I I was just gonna recognize that, your overall participation was up from the prior month. Congratulations. I know you've been kind of held and steady at about 3 active. Hopefully this extra one that you got, and another one gets you where you need to be.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have you got anybody applying?
We've had a couple, but I think when they see the part about the background check, we don't hear back from them, so.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
That's good. Thank you, Chief. All right. Bullard, is anybody here from Bullard? Yeah, there he is.
How you doing? I'm Captain Greg Lugo with Bullard. Chief Riley's sick tonight, so he's battling the flu. Last month, we had 91 incidences. This past week, we've had a couple structure fires, vehicle fires, so. Got 2 of our volunteers in paramedic school right now, 2 in fire academy, and I believe 2 in driver operator. We have 3 new applicants that just went through the process with the ESD for backgrounds and UAs. Got their acceptance today. We got 3 more interviews next Tuesday. Any questions?
Y'all still rostering at night some?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As much as we can. We're actually going to get with the ESD and see about having them cover a couple nights a week so we can give our volunteers some time to breathe a little bit.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Chapel Hill, Chief Peterson.
You can see that we started to pick back up again. We're up over 100 calls again in our district. A couple things is that we staffed their station with 24 hours volunteers when that weather storm come through. So we had them staff actually a little over 24 hours just helping out with the day crew when they were there too. I had up to 6, 7 guys sitting there at a time. So we had enough to cover our area for the weather. But it never did happen, but we were ready for it. Also, we did a lot of support our residents in our area with, they want some big piles burning, so we helped by standing by while they burn the big piles to keep it from going out of control. In fact, we got some donation from them as well. It came pretty good. In December, we had training for injury reports plus our physical fitness. We have some of our guys that were coming on during that time. And then January, we did our training with the pipeline safety they had at Rose Garden Center, and I had 6 people attended that, so we learned our pipeline in our area in case we have something go wrong. Then I also got one man is in the paramedic class. He just got going on that. He don't know if he really wants it, but he's going to do it anyways. So he'll be in that for a year before he can be done with that. And also, I have one of my members just got accepted from the Texas Task Force 2 in the state of Texas, and he'll be starting the training in a few months with the task force. So he'll be going up for deployment with task force. That's pretty much what I got so far. I do have some guys, since I'm an instructor at TJC, there's about 3 guys that are cadets that starting that's kind of in my area, and I am trying to recruit them to come over as well. I think I'll get 2 of them, but I don't know about the other one.
That'd be great.
Got anything else?
I just acknowledge with the, even with the increase in calls, your overall participation also went up in the month too, so that's a great effort by everybody.
Yeah, I've been pushing my guys a bit more to try to go with calls. Daytime is a little harder for us, except for me and maybe a couple of them that's retired help out, but that's harder for us than daytime calls.
I didn't know if there was a reduction in your total active out of your roster from last month. Is that report accurate, or is there something happened, or is there?
Some of them, their job is we had a couple of their jobs has changed a little bit more, so it's harder for them to make some of the calls. And we're working on trying to really change that schedules. But yeah, yeah.
Dale, are you rostering any of the people at night sometimes staying at the station?
Every so often, yes. I've got one guy that stays by himself, but sometimes I'll have 2 up there. It varies. Most times through weekends, yes, and sometimes during the week they're there, yeah. Okay. So I have them there and they'll run out with it our day crew up there.
Not every night, but
Not every night, but it's, I would say about 50-50 on that through the week.
at least you make an effort.
Yep.
That's good, thank you. Flint Gresham, Assistant Chief Rath.
So December, obviously with the holidays and everything, we had a little bit of a slowdown in our responses. I'd like to see that no response or no volunteer number drop down a little bit further. We've had some fires, as have been discussed. Proud to say that we've been putting out quite a few people into the field for those fires. I don't think we've missed any of the fires as far as getting a tender out. When we had a large structure fire in one of our neighborhoods, we had 7 people respond from the VFD side. 3 of them got out into the field, myself, Captain Lowry, and Lieutenant Eric Ellion. And then we had 4 people that were standing by at the station to cover any calls that may have come in. So good responses coming out of Flint Gresham right now. Speaking of Lieutenant Eric Hellion, so we did have officer elections this month. So our new officers for Flint Gresham, the chief is still Chief Stone. I'm the assistant chief now. We have Captain Lowry. We have Captain Ferguson. He's going to be our training captain. And now we have Lieutenant Eric Hellion, who's new to the officer role. He actually just finished his instructor class and tested with DCFP a week or 2 ago. So he's well on his way to getting all the necessary certifications. I think the only thing he's missing right now is Officer 1. Incidentally, he did text me a little bit ago, said that our tender has been taken out of service for maintenance. I don't know how long that's going to be, but right now we don't have a tender, so I don't know if there's an option maybe to get another tender to Flint, because we do consistently get the tender out. So if we can work on getting something there to replace it, I don't know how long it's going to be out. I know that they're going to work on the valves and an IT issue and just regular PM. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else unless there are questions.
No, you just happened to draw done like you straw the month that participation went down, but I understand, yeah, what's going on, so we appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all still have a very high participation rate out of everybody, so we appreciate all this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Noonday.
Good evening. So currently, we have 26 people on our roster. We've got 2 in the process, and then 1 called today is interested. We'll be meeting with him tomorrow. Of the 26, 23 of our folks at least have the minimum wildland certification. Right now, we have 12 that are in EMT class, 1 that's in EMR class, and 3 that are in the fire academy. Couple of them did drop off due to, 1 was military deployment, and we've got 1 that's in the DPS academy. Chief Simmons has been working with the folks that are in the EMS classes and getting them prepared to take their state skills next week and following weeks after.
I noticed you had quite a few that are wildland certified, so it's good. Get into something that they can be involved with. So good. White House. I don't know if there's anybody here from White House. I know Chief Tate's still laid up. So anyway, Winona, Chief Allen.
Good evening. As you can see, the holidays kind of slowed us down a little bit, but overall, I think we're still pretty active there. We've got almost everybody now. We're just waiting on, I have anywhere from 9 to 10 personnel waiting on a wildland skills day. So we'll have, I believe the majority of the fire VFD will be complete wildland certified from that point. I've got a few now that are finishing up some EVOC so we can get the support certifications finished up and moving forward. Any questions?
Acknowledge your volunteer participation was at 90% this past month, up from prior months, but the highest level of participation we have in the district. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. All right. Item 17 will be closed session. The board will convene in closed session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551071. 551-072 and 50074. No action shall be taken while the board is in closed session. Any final action, final decision, or final vote shall be taken after the board reconvenes in open session. And we are in closed session at 7:24, and I would ask everyone to please clear the room. Okay, return to open session now at 9:01 PM. Item 19, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on the proposed service provider contracts.
So as everybody knows, the existing service provider contracts for volunteer fire departments ended on September the 30th. I know each of you have been involved in, many of y'all have been involved in the negotiations and for those an extension to February the 14th. I know, I'm confident that all parties have had the opportunity to review and provide their comments to us, and the revised contract has been presented to each one of our volunteer fire departments as well as the board. I make the motion that the board would adopt the version that is attached to this meeting minutes and authorize our Smith County ESD Board President to countersign executed contracts.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Dominy. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Commissioner Arnold. Is there any other question under discussion? Everybody needs to abide by this contract, whether they're ESD firemen or our service providers. So, with that being said, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 20, discuss, consider, and act on election of officers of the board pursuant to section 775, 073, or 037 of the Texas Health and Safety Code. So we'll be electing new board president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, assistant treasurer, and other respective officers as needed. So, gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
Well, how do we want to proceed with this? I nominate, I'm gonna take one at a time.
You can either do it or however you want to do it.
I nominate Johnny Brown to be president and Charles Wilson to be vice president. And that's as far as I'm gonna go, and I'll let y'all take the rest of it.
Okay. Well, I have a motion by Commissioner Arnold for me to be elected president. Charles vice president. Do I have a second? You second? Yeah. Okay. I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
None.
Scotty say aye. Did you say aye or nay?
Yeah, aye.
Okay. All right. Any opposed? Okay, hearing none. Did you vote, Brent?
No, I did not.
Okay, so we have 4, and one abstention, okay? Now we have secretary, treasurer, and assistant treasurer. So I'll make the motion that Brent Dominy remain as our secretary treasurer and that Mac Arnold be appointed as our, or elected as our assistant treasurer. And it, Commissioner Thornton would fill in the records management officer.
I'll second that.
Okay, I made that motion. I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other further discussion or question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries 4-1 also. Or with one abstention, I guess. Did you vote, Brent?
No, I did not.
Okay, all right. All right,
What about treasurer, secretary?
huh?
I haven't heard secretary yet.
I said secretary treasurer.
I thought you only said treasurer.
I said secretary treasurer, yeah. Mhm. Yeah. All right. All right, so I guess we got that done. Item 21, remarks by presiding officer and our board members, information updates, items to be placed on future agendas and future meeting dates and times and/or locations. Mac? you have anything you'd like to say?
No, just appreciate y'all doing what you do.
Okay. Charles?
Everyone's doing a great job.
Okay.
No comments.
No comment? Okay. I don't have anything either, guys. We just appreciate all the work y'all do, and y'all keep up the good job, and we are adjourned at 9:06.